I mean, and now we're on recording video for YouTube as well. So bring us in. Do it to it.
Hi. This is the
that awkward
Hi.
meeting.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Three Crafty Bastards. This is the quarantine episode.
I know, 6 feet, man.
Yeah.
So get out the shot. No, I'm just okay. So yeah, of course, Three Crafty Bastards. Of course, I'm B. Smith, and to my right, as always,
Mr. Classic.
Well, not as always. Like every other week, as always. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I mean, and next week will be.
That's going to be on my life. If I ever create a license plate, it's what's going to say on it.
What? Mr. Classic?
If I can fit Mr. Classic, or it might just be Classic.
I thought you might put, like, on my right, of course.
No. I think there's enough room for that.
Right. So, Three Crafty Bastards, and if you are stuck doing, the quarantine thing, we got a beer review for you. So
when you get out of quarantine,
you
can go get it.
You won't be able to get either of the beers that we're going to review for you tonight.
It'd be a pretty good field trip for one of those.
Well, the one from New York, of course, we're going to do beer 4 of number 4 on the New York series, which if you've been following our page or if you watch any of the beer reviews, my sister went to New York. She brought me back 4 beers. I reviewed the first one, and then we will have reviewed 3 together. The last one that we did is...
That sounded delicious.
What's that?
When I saw it, I watched the review, I'm like,
yeah.
God, I hope he saved me some.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure
So we did, last week we did, or last time we were together, we did Blue Toad Black Cherry Cider, which was out of Rochester, New York.
Sure.
And tonight we have Rohrbach Brewing Company, and we're going to review the Neoteric series. Say that fucking 5 times fast. Yeah. The Neoteric series, and this particular beer is called Marsh Monster, and it is a brown ale with s'mores flavors. So this should be really interesting. Yeah. But first things first, you want to just go ahead and get into this review?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. So, little old B. Smith here.
You have an opener?
Yeah, I got one.
That's right underneath
here.
I'm
prepared.
I didn't see one.
So B. Smith, if you know anything about me, man, I definitely get into like brewing beers and kind of experimenting and things like that. So a while back, maybe 2 months or so, whenever the Emmys, no, Golden Globes, Oscars
were January,
right, yeah, January. So whenever the Oscars were, that particular Sunday is when this beer was brewed. So little backstory on this: I'd been sitting on this kit for a while. I had one of my other buddies, Juan, come over, and I was like, hey, man, I'm getting ready to brew some beer. You want to come over and check it out? Then I'm talking to Marlon. I'm like, Marlon, man, I'm brewing some beer. You want to come over and check it out? And let's hang out and enjoy fellowship and all that kind of thing. And so we I kind of like did the stuff, but we talked about it, and we talked about like troubleshooting and all kinds of things. It was a thing. And this is what culminates out of that. And instead of giving it some freakishly ridiculous Oscars style name, because cool. That's the day that it's brewed. No, my name is way cooler, thank you. I decided to just call it Sundays with Friends, because that's essentially how this all came about. Was a Sunday with Friends, Yep. So Sundays with Friends is an Oktoberfest style beer, and it was actually supposed to be like kind of like a Zombie Fest, Oktoberfest, or Zombie Dust Oktoberfest, like minimally hoppy, but more like an Oktoberfest style beer, which if you know anything about Oktoberfest, it's a very drinkable beer, very popular around September, October. But then of course I wanted to like jazz everything up, which I did. So in addition to the Magnum hops that were added during the boil to this wort before it became beer, I decided to add Cascade hops as well. So I added an ounce of Cascade hops, and then I dry hopped it, and I added an additional ounce of Cascade hops, and I let it age for 2 weeks, and then I bottled it.
Wow.
So the original gravity on this, or the original gravity reading, read at about 8%, and I was pretty stoked about it, but it turns out that really it was just dense because everything hadn't settled. and the bottom of this fermenter had about 2 to 2.5 inches of sediment in it,
Wow.
which I just ended up throwing away. Right. So a few things that I'm very proud of on this beer is that it is clear. This is quite possibly, no, it's not quite possibly, it is the clearest beer that I have ever created.
I was gonna say,
It's clear.
Close.
It's very clear. The second thing I was pretty impressed with was the flavor. Very mellow to start, and then hoppy finish, but not overly hoppy. So I expect you're gonna get a couple faces over here like, eh, 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 eh. In an effort to support my friend, I will give this beer, but I like it. Anybody that I've given it to, especially I got a guy, my beer guru Jim, who I gave one of these to, and he was like, "Dude, that's pretty good." So feel like we're on a roll, man. We're back on track with this one. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and open Sundays with Friends, and I'm gonna go ahead and pour that up, and I'm gonna let Mr. Classic over here bend your ear for a second.
How did you go from? I'm joking with you here, but you did Sundays with Friends, and you didn't do Oscars So White. No, don't answer that. Too controversial. Never mind.
Well,
no.
Because the beer's kind of a brown ale. It wouldn't have been right. It certainly wouldn't have been right.
I'm just gonna jump on my quick note here today. If you notice the hoodie that I'm wearing, anyone who knows my favorite baseball team is the New York Mets. Today would have been opening day, March 26th. We would have been watching baseball today had it not been for the coronavirus, COVID-19, had us all quarantined and scared. So they've shut down, and this could have been a shutdown episode too, or lockdown, however you want to call it. But
I mean, it kind of is. I mean, we're all kind of supposedly locked in. I mean, thank goodness, and then we'll get to this later. As of this week and tomorrow, I'm essential personnel, but after next week, I mean, our entire plant shuts down. So,
and then ours is trickling back open.
Is it really next week?
Monday, yeah.
Nice, very nice.
But my boss said he'd cover everything. Although we're like so bored at home, I wish that I had gotten a part-time job just to stay out of the house.
Yeah, but where would you go? That would have been essential.
Kroger.
You're not wrong.
Even Costco.
Yeah.
So some of the places where you got to go get food, or maybe a gas station, or we should have gave a list of all the essential places.
We actually will if you guys continue to watch. We're going to cover that a little later. So let's go ahead and get into this beer review. I'm really curious. Another thing that I'm proud of is how well the carbonation has hung up on this, or hung in on this. Yeah, so if you notice, I don't know if you can get a clear shot of that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's my current baby.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's a great color.
Yeah, great color, pretty clear, not a lot of sediment, and any of the bottles that I poured.
And you can see it still
and
fizzing, bubbling.
Yeah, the carbonation was on point. The first one that I opened, I was going to pour it into a glass, and I sat it down. I looked away to say something to my girlfriend. I looked back, and it's everywhere.
Nice.
It was like just kind of foaming over out of the bottle. It didn't shoot like the one that we had. You remember that? That was
unforgettable.
Terrible. Yeah.
Unforgettable.
So go back and watch that video. We crack a growler of I think it was First Dance, wasn't it?
Yep. And
man, that thing was like spewing. I ended up
jump in the shower.
I had to open it in the shower, man. It looked like somebody shit all over the shower. There was sediment. It was insane. So let's go ahead and give this a taste real quick, man. Cheers. That's the hops that you got right there. Yeah, that's the one. That's the hop face. That's Marlon's hop face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your front end is really good.
Yeah.
It's everything you described. You get the tasty brown ale in the front. And yes, I've had IPAs enough where I know what hops taste like. And I can smell hops. I'd be curious if we were able to give it a what's the other, not ABV, what's the other rating? IBU rating.
An IBU rating.
I'd be curious at where it's at. I would guess it's over 60.
Yeah, easily.
I'm guessing, and it could be a little higher, but I'm guessing at least over 60.
Well,
it's not awful for my palate. I understand what it is, and that's the main thing, is being, understanding what it is, so that you're not, oh, it's disgusting.
Yeah, just being able to identify it.
Because it's not disgusting at all. I can taste what it is. I can taste what it's doing, and I think it's, for what it's supposed to be, it is very good.
So let me ask you a question. If you were to go into a bar, let's say you were a partial hops drinker, a little bit of hops drinker, would you go into a bar and would you order a Sundays with Friends?
Probably just because of the name.
Right. And if it was a Sunday.
First and foremost, yes.
Dude, I am pretty good at beer, like creative beer names.
Yeah.
Like Super Awesome Cherry Blossom, First Dance, Sundays with Friends, like I got good beer names, if anything. Even if the beer is shitty, I got a great name for it.
That's very true.
So
I feel like I had something that's similar when I went to the Hoppy Gnome for that dinner tasting.
Mm-hmm. The duck one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I asked for it was a Scottish ale. Right. And this has some of the Scottish ale flavor because it's a brown ale, but there's a similarity. Not theirs wasn't as hoppy, but it tastes just as well. Like I could have bought this at the Hoppy Gnome. Right.
And if you want to if you have a look here, check that out. That's inside the bottle, man. Look at the nice head on that beer right there. Like this beer is really, really doing some things right now, even after it's been given a chance to breathe. So I'm really proud of this beer, honestly. I'm ecstatic that it turned out the way that it did. I feel like for what the process was and what I added to it, the taste was achieved. Excuse me, a little bit of carbonation, so I'm gonna burp a little bit, but you can't get this anywhere else. This is just in this house.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. It's like it is the championship of brewing beer, is to make something that you would enjoy drinking. So
that way you don't have to leave.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like
how much you made, look how long you would not have to leave the house.
Yeah, I made 5 gallons, and I gave a gallon away. I gave a couple bottles away, and then the rest, the first 6-pack, as tradition, we always have to set back and we let that age for about 6 or 8 months. And then we come back to it and we try it all over again. And I think 8 months will be right around the time that we'll be trying it all over again. But really good. We like to let it age, and then we just kind of like to see how it sets on the palate after aging for so long. So we'll come back to this 8 months from now.
So you didn't put any extra type of flavoring in it.
Nope.
So this wasn't this is a s'mores, or we did creme brulee, or
nothing,
pumpkin, or something crazy. This is straight. Would you say it's not brown ale? Is it brown ale?
No, it's like an Oktoberfest style beer that's been dry hopped. So,
but it's straight. There's nothing like sugary added on.
No, just the corn sugar that was used during fermentation.
And the last time we were here, that's what we did with that porter.
Yeah,
porter was a straight porter, and it's nice to get back to that.
Yeah. I'm impressed with this beer. If you can't tell, like, I feel like I'm patting myself on the back, and if it feels like that to you, I am.
Yeah, don't break your arm, man.
Fortunate for you, I cannot reach my back, so there's that.
That's pretty good.
All right, so in true gladiator fashion, as we always do about this time, let's give it the rating. 3, 2, 1. It's me. Come on, it's me, Mario.
Is he really gonna rate his own?
I did.
After he's breaking, like, let me get
back. But I'd like to know what you would rate it on a scale of 1 to 5. Obviously, this is outside of your wheelhouse, and you are not necessarily. I wouldn't say you were comfortable with the way that it tasted, but it's just not something that you regularly drink. So I'm kind of curious, what would you rate this beer?
I had the first number that jumped into my head, and I'm comfortable with it, at a 4.1.
You know how hard it is to get a 4.1 out of this dude?
Because I've been slaying some beers.
Yeah,
I've been slaying some beers.
Yeah, he's a brew slayer.
I like the again. It's straight. It's as advertised. It's what I expected, and it's genuinely good.
I'll take it. So if you want to get some Sundays with Friends, get your own, because I made mine. Actually, you know what would be awesome is if we could give it away. Like, what could we think of that we could be like, hey man, you could win a 6-pack of Sundays with Friends if you did, you know what? For anybody that watches this, for the two people,
I know, right?
Not including the one on the bottom because she's kind of mine.
I don't think the other one drinks beer.
Well,
she didn't drink alcohol.
If anybody watches this, whether it be on YouTube, on Facebook, if you go back and you watch the video later, you want to win a 6-pack of Sundays with Friends, send us a video or upload a video or send it to either one of us through Messenger or send it to our page of what you're doing during the lockdown.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I'm hearing about game nights.
Yeah, we do a little bit of game nights. We did game nights for her birthday. We did some games last weekend. We played some Uno and stuff like that.
I was with my friends last weekend. We had a game night 2 nights in a row. So, and we didn't, well, what games are you playing?
Dude, we played Uno. We played Uno Flip.
You have to tell me about Flip.
Her and I played Clue.
Mm.
That was a good one. On her birthday, we played, obviously, Cards Against Humanity.
Mm-hmm.
But we also have New Phone Who Dis, which is kind of like the same premise. It's like, for example, if your boss were to say, "Hey, Marlon, we need you to come into work," and it's like kind of like a phone premise. So the card laid is like, "We need you to come into work." You figure out your best response and then you lay it, and then the best response obviously wins from the dealer. So it's the same premise as like Cards Against Humanity or Apples to Apples or anything like that. And then we also got what's the other one? Not Cards Against Humanity, but the other one.
I don't really play them.
Damn! I'd have to go check, which I'm not gonna do right now.
We played old school. Went phase 10.
Nice. Okay.
I've never played, but other people have because I was terrible at it. We also played Sequence.
I've never played Sequence.
Sequence is a game where it's almost like a card game, but there's a board with all the cards on it.
Right.
And based on the cards you draw, you have to try to get 5 in a row.
Okay.
Up, down, diagonal, no bunches. But let's say I get a hand of like 6 diamonds, 8 of hearts, king of spade. You got your jokers were wild. Your jokers? No, your jacks. So your jacks were some kind of wild where you can take someone's piece off or you can put a wild piece on. I was terrible. My buddy's daughter about had I don't want to call it conniption fit, maybe an aneurysm when I should have won, and I put it somewhere else.
Yeah, so you're the terrible spades partner.
Not spades. This is Sequence. So I'm good in spades.
Okay, all right.
I'm terrible at this Sequence game, and oh yeah. We also played Family Feud.
That would be fun.
It was fun, except for the judge.
Who's your judge?
I judged once, and I was like, I'm never playing this again, because you're trying to interpret people's answers to make sure they fit on the card because people don't answer them directly. Man, they were like, I just got jumped on a lot. I'm not playing Family Feud anymore.
Right.
Family Feud's done for me, but Sequence was fun. Phase 10 was fun. I'm hoping to play and borrow an Uno Attack and play that.
We have 2 different types of Uno, but not Uno Attack.
You have to explain when we're done. Explain Flip to me.
Yeah, dude. Maybe we can get a game in or something. So why don't you go ahead and take it? I pulled up the information for the second beer review. Why don't you go ahead and take the second beer review?
Okay. First of all, I want to look at the art, which is kind of eerie. You have some scary hand.
Yeah.
That looks like he's almost toasting a marshmallow.
Check that out right there.
Marsh Monster. A brown ale with s'mores flavor. We said that earlier. Looks very similar to what we just drank. Similar. I don't even know where to begin. Because I can read this, but that's not relevant.
Okay, so you want me to just
jumping down here?
Yeah, you want me to just I feel like this is my wheelhouse.
You can.
Okay, so Marsh Monster is a limited edition beer. Obviously, like we said before, it's number 4 out of the New York series, so no more New York beers. Dang. Shout out to my sister for bringing those back because those made the plane ride and then made it to the work ride and then made it to the home ride and then made it to the here ride. So shout out to sis for that. I saved this one in particular because, well, we did Blue Toad first because I knew Marlon was going to enjoy the cider better then he would enjoy this. It's not to say that he won't enjoy it. I just know I feel like a cider is a sure shot with Marlin. So this particular one, this Marsh Monster, was hard to find information on because it's a limited release beer. How limited is it? First 50 people at either location, because this what is it? Rohrbach Brewing Company has 2 locations in Rochester, New York. First 50 people at either location keep your custom glass with the purchase of your first pint. Complimentary samples, and they were only selling them in 4-packs. They were only selling them on site. So this is not something that you can walk into your local liquor store here in Indiana and get off your shelf. They said that it was brewed with a myriad of specialty malts featuring characteristics of honey, chocolate, and a touch of smokiness. With the addition of cinnamon, toasted marshmallow, and cocoa nibs, Marsh Monster is supposed to be the campfire beer. Now, unfortunately, we won't be able to sample it around a campfire, but we can definitely get a taste for it. So, what do you think? First impression?
Just the smell was...
I can smell the smokiness.
Yeah, that's weird. It smells like you're at a campfire.
Yeah, I hate campfire smoked beers.
I don't like it inside of my clothes, so I don't like smell either.
I'm gonna be honest with you. So let's go, man.
But you can smell it.
Oh. We're doing like a 20-minute beer review, man. We gotta. I feel like we're gonna feel the same way about this, so I'm just gonna let you take the wheel on this one.
I don't know, man. I want to say it almost sounds not. It tastes like it says it does, and it's not good.
Yeah, agreed.
You taste the smokiness. I love brown ales. Actually, I do like brown ales, but I think they were busy when you were reading some of the ingredients. I was like, that's a lot.
Right.
It's a lot of different itty bitty things to put together, and then it doesn't say that. Yeah, around a campfire, but some of those elements were like, that's too much. I felt like it's busy. I mean, it's got good texture. It's just the flavor. I mean, I think I can taste what it's trying to do, and it's not for me. I can taste what it's trying to do.
Okay. If you can see my face right now, you see that I'm slightly disgusted by this beer. So I'm going to make this really quick, man. We're going to get to rating. We're going to get off of here. And we're going to get into the next shit. Gross. And I know it's not very often that I say that I dislike a beer. But truth be told, I feel like I made a better beer than the one that I was presented with. Hands down, my least favorite of the New York series beers, and here's what I don't like about it. As you heard me say before, I do not like smokiness in my beer. I've had campfire smoked beers or beers smoked with this or smoked with that, and I think the smokiness of it all is disgusting. What I expected more of a sweet flavor to it. You are literally adding honey, chocolate, cinnamon, toasted marshmallows, and cocoa, and all I can taste is the smokiness.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Yeah.
So, in true gladiator fashion, as we always do about this time, 3, 2, 1. It's down. Sorry.
That was no good.
Yeah. Sorry, Rohrbach. Why don't you go ahead and rate it real quick, man? Like, I gotta get away from this shit. I mean, we're being honest. Honestly,
and this is probably generous. That's a 2.1.
That's exactly what I was gonna say, and then I
think that's generous.
And I was like, nah, man, it's a 2. On a scale of 5, it's a 2.
Because I could go lower, but I'm being generous at 2.1.
I'm gonna give it a 2 because I can appreciate what they tried to do, but the flavors simply did not blend as advertised.
If you can figure out what the process is of how they add the smokiness to it, obviously take that away. Maybe I don't know if you even push the other stuff, but take this whatever smokiness you put in there, take that away.
I feel like
it may be okay.
I feel like it would be boring without the smokiness because the other flavors that they were looking for have not been achieved.
Yeah.
So 2.0 for me, man. And the only reason it's getting a 2 is because I have to be appreciative that it's not from around here and you can't get it anywhere unless you're in New York, close to the Rochester area. So I can appreciate that for what it is. I can appreciate what they tried to achieve, but for me personally, that's a no for me, dog.
I thought that was going to be good. Like I said, I like brown ales.
Yeah, well, I mean, why did we put s'mores in the forefront? Why didn't you put smokiness? You lied to me. That's what it was. You lied to me.
Boom. So that's why I rate a lot of them beers that were low, because they weren't as advertised. And this one fits in that category.
Man, not a fan. So, of course, if you're over here, we're gonna keep on rolling. But if you're over here, we're gonna say peace out. 3 Crafty Bastards. Of course, I'm B. Smith, and to my right,
Mr. Classic.
Mr. Classic. We'll be right back.